Hi, in this episode we'd like to show you 15 best places to visit on Seychelles. However, this time we don't want to do just a typical top 15 video because it is such an unique and exotic country that from time to time we'll try to share some interesting facts and tell more about this wonderful place. My name is Luke and this is Seychelles. We know that Seychelles is known for its beautiful beaches, and that's why we created a separate video about them. But in this one, we would like to show you a bit of its culture, nature, and history. We'll visit 3 main islands and a few smaller ones. That's why we'll divide this episode into 3 parts and begin everything with Mahe, where the international airport is located. And the first attraction we would like to show you is South Year Waterfall. If you come here by car, we suggest leaving it next to the Petit Beach. There's a small church nearby, so there are plenty of spaces available. And from there you can walk very easily on the main road to the entrance of the waterfalls. Pay attention to the fake guides because you may notice some on the way. They will try to show you the alternative way, and of course they will want some money for it. So just don't pay attention and go straight to the waterfalls.
Victoria is the capital of Seychelles and its largest city. It has everything a typical capital usually has: the president's house, the parliament, the Supreme Court, the National Library, museums, office buildings, botanical gardens, a full-size stadium, and even the only large hypermarket in the country. And all this in a city with a population of only 25,000 people. This creates a unique feeling of being in a huge agglomeration, which, however, you can explore on foot in less than an hour. The city's symbol is this beautiful clock built in 1903 and named after the British Queen Victoria, who died shortly before. Some people mistakenly believe that it is a replica of the famous Big Ben, although in reality, it refers to Little Ben, which is a different clock in London. In Victoria, it's best to simply walk around the center in any direction and visit the local market with fresh fruits and vegetables. Also, pay attention to how this city reflects the diversity of Seychelles. Just look at this monument with 3 arches that symbolize the local society originating from Europe, Africa, and Asia. It is also impressive that in this really small city, there are temples of several major world religions.
Another beautiful place on Mahe Island. It is a village built in 1893. There used to be a huge plantation of coconuts and cinnamon around it, and today you can come here and admire how it used to look inside and outside. And everywhere around the village there are such small houses where you can get local products, and the whole village is called the Craft Village, which is quite easy to remember.
In Seychelles, we were walking between some attractions. It was not very convenient because the roads here are narrow and often without sidewalks. Plus, the hills, humidity. Long story short, it really wasn't comfortable at all. But on the other hand, the views were amazing, with many wonderful beaches just like this one. Interestingly, they were often empty, but very easy to access at the same time. So if you like trekking, do it at least a few times during your journey. And now, let's move on to the next attraction.
There's one place you cannot miss while being on Seychelles. It is a distillery where you can take a guided tour or just walk around by yourself, but also try all the different kinds of rum they produce here. Also around the place there are beautiful gardens with animals, with flowers, with trees. So it's a great adventure. There's a spider here, and I'm super afraid of spiders. I was trying to get used to them before going to Australia, but this one here is huge. I'm not able to focus it properly, but I think you can see it somehow here. It is huge. It is really huge.
The next attraction is a unique artificial island with countless luxury villas, Eden Island. It was created in 2006, and you can find a shopping mall, a beautiful marina, and plenty of restaurants there. But we are talking about this place for a different reason, because it's located very close to the St. Anne Marine National Park, where you can get from Eden Island on a semi-submarine trip. And this is something we recommend to absolutely everyone. About half of such an hour-long cruise takes place underwater, which allows you to see the coral reef from different places and perspectives. What's more, the boat goes through the area where the reconstruction of the old reef is being carried out, and the guide speaks about the whole process. If you feel like going on this cruise, remember to check out our affiliate link in the description of this video with current prices and departure times.
On Seychelles, there are many unique fruits and spices that you cannot get anywhere else, but only here. And on Mahe Island, there's a huge garden where you can take a look at, I don't know, maybe all of them, but definitely most of them.
If you want to travel around Seychelles by public transport, then buses work quite well on Mahe and Praslin. They're old and not very punctual, but reach even the furthest attractions of these two islands, and at the same time allow you to admire such gorgeous views. So, in general, we do recommend traveling by bus. However, first visit our website, lovedbeingthere.com, where we've published more information about where to buy tickets, how to read maps, and use a special app that helps use the system, because it may seem quite difficult at first. Soon we'll publish a special video about the best beaches in Seychelles. However, now, let's focus on the southeast region of Mahe, where you can take a beautiful trail that starts near Anse Bazarka Beach and leads between a few more, such as Police Bay. Also, you can hike the hills that are here. We tried to do it, but unfortunately, we saw two gates on our way, even though according to the map, it was a trekking trail that would take you to the other side of the hill. The first gate was easy to pass through, but the second one had barbed wires on top, so we got a bit scared of going further and decided to return. But anyway, that walk took us around an hour and was still worth it. Try it if you like trekking and adventures. You'll touch all these tropical leaves, feel the humidity, hear the birds. It will be fun. After returning home, we read that a similar but fully open trail is located on the western side of the island and leads to the Anse Major beach, so probably it should be worth checking out some photos and reviews before exploring the island. Okay, since we already have the map in front of us, let's move on to the last point on Mahe that we want to highlight in this video. And actually, it's not a specific point, but a route. Sans souci. There are several smaller attractions along it, which together will make a really cool one-day trip. First, more trekking trails, but these are more mountainous because we are talking about the highest area of the archipelago with a dominant peak at over 900 meters or 2,960 feet above the ocean level. There are also several viewpoints along the road and even a small tea factory.
Along the way, you can also visit Vence town, which is the place where you can see ruins of the old school where children of the freed slaves used to learn.
In Vence town, you can see the gazebo that was officially opened by Elizabeth II. On March 20th, 1972, in the morning, she took part in the opening ceremony of the international airport. Then, in the afternoon, she came here for a traditional English tea with such wonderful views. You can get to the attractions along the road by public transport, but it's even easier by car, so consider renting one for a couple of days. And how to travel between the islands? You will learn about it in detail on our website, lovedbeingthere.com. But generally speaking, first you need to get to Victoria Bus Terminal. The harbor is a 15-minute walk from here. If you take a taxi, just tell the driver you have a ticket for the Cat Cocos cruise. Their catamarans run between Mahe, Praslin, and Digue, usually 2 or 3 times a day. And that brings us to the next part of our video, where we'll present 2 attractions on Praslin.
We are now on Praslin Island. You can call it Praslin or Praslin. It is the second largest island of Seychelles, inhabited by around 8,000 people. And what it's famous for? It's famous for its nature, especially tropical endemic plants and animals that you can find in Vallée de Mahe. Vallée de Mahe is a national park, one of the most important ones on the Indian Ocean. This is the place where you can find the symbol of the whole country, which is a huge nut called coco de mer. And the fun fact is that literally everyone will bring one home from Seychelles because it is on the official seal that you will have in your passport after arrival to the country. The next place is not located on a Praslin Island because this island is behind me. We are on Kurieuse Island and you should take the cruise here if you want to see many turtles because this is what the island is famous for.
Good guy. Need more cameras, guys.
Before departure, we saw a shark again, this time much closer. And on the way back to Praslin, there was still time for snorkeling. Therefore, if you like nature, we highly recommend such a trip. At least a few companies organize them, and if you want to go with the one we did, check out the link in the description of this video. Alright, let's move to the next island, Digue. which is the most peaceful, heavenly, and beautiful of all the ones described in this video, and known for some of the best beaches in the world.
We are on Digue Island now, which is a very unique place, very different from Mahe and Praslin, because here you cannot use any cars. Well, there are some buses for tourists, however, tourists here walk or ride bikes. And what's interesting, I have talked to the owner of our guest house, and she told us that actually even she cannot own a car, even if she was born and raised here. So this, let's say, attraction is quite general, but I would say that the atmosphere of this island is something you definitely should experience.
Let us talk about our accommodation on Digue for a while. First of all, Zerof Guest House and Villas are a partner of our Seychelles travel guide and this video, for which we are truly grateful. If you're looking for a beautiful place to stay on Digue, be sure to check out the description of this video, where you will find a link to this wonderful accommodation. Zerof is divided into a bed and breakfast guest house and villas located a few streets away that are much larger, with fully equipped kitchens, terraces, and even a swimming pool, but no meals included. So you can choose the option that suits you better. Both are great, and we highly recommend them.
Another cool place on Digue is the road that connects the center of the island with one of the most famous beaches here, which is called Grand Anse. And what's interesting about it is that you go through the rainforest, so you are surrounded by all the palms and flowers and everything. And we also saw a turtle walking somewhere in the bush. So yeah, it's a really nice place.
The next attraction, the beaches on Digue. Yes, there will be a special episode only about them, but here we must underline that if you're looking for the best beaches in Seychelles, they are here. There are two main beach areas on Digue. First is the Grand Anse and the nearby Petit Anse. And the second one, you can get to it through the famous vanilla and coconut plantation, which we'll show you a bit later. The first area is much quieter. The beaches here are wide, almost empty, and known for their long granite headlands. We were most impressed by the Petit Anse beach, which can be reached from Grand Anse after a short walk through such a picturesque forest. Now, the second area is the main attraction of the island, but fortunately, there's a few kilometers of trails between the beaches, so it's not crowded at all. Here walking is even more impressive because the route is incredibly diverse and leads between palm trees, giant granite rocks, and often in the ocean, so remember to take your water shoes. There are also several bars along the trail with hammocks, music, and great cocktails where you can relax after wandering around.
We have just arrived to another attraction, which is L'Union Estate. It is a huge plantation of vanilla, but also coconuts, and not only, it's still active. Over 300 people still work here, and you can visit the place, see how it looks. But also, this whole area is a gate to the most famous beach of the island.
Entrance to the plantation is paid, regardless of whether you are exploring it or just passing through and going to the beach. It's worth spending a while here because you'll find tools and buildings that were once used to make oil products. There are also workshops for tourists several times a day. In the first part of this large complex, you will also find stairs to the crown of one of the palms, swings for children, an art gallery, a cafe, and of course, giant tortoises. In the second part of the plantation, the one that is closer to the beach, you pass hundreds of vanilla trees. It's impossible to miss them because they have unique, long lianas and quite large, thick leaves. It is the best opportunity to get close and see growing vanilla.
And the last amazing place on the Digue island, but stay until the end of this video because after this attraction we will show you something else. But anyway, the last place here on this island, on the Digue island, is the top of a hill that is here. Many of the islands of Seychelles have some hills, sometimes even small mountains. However, here on Digue you can climb the highest one and get spectacular views of the whole area. Alright, it was not an easy trail. Sometimes it was not even pleasant, but if you like such adventures, this is something you must do, definitely. And before we finish, there's one more thing I would like to show you. Between the islands, like this one, this is Praslin, and this one, this is Digue. There's Mahe somewhere. Between these three islands, there are ferries that go, I think, 2 or 3 times a day. Of course, it is just a form of transportation, but you can easily consider it as a attraction because the views from there are just amazing. So yeah, that's just another thing I would like to mention before finishing this video. And if you think that this video was worth watching, if you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumb up and subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Bye. We know that Seychelles